Hi folks, this is Wemette coming to you at request and my idea too. Some of you folks want to know about my experiences, perhaps with different people. I can tell you right off, I was not in the Accardo era. I saw Tony several times, but I never really spent any time with him. But there are some interesting people I did spend time with. Back right after I met Kurt Hansen introduced me to Jimmy Catura. And Jimmy needed some wiring done on his home. He had a doorbell chime that didn't work. It just went ding dong instead of going ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. So he asked me to take a look at it. And when Jimmy spoke, he spoke in broken English. What I want to tell you to do is do this, I don't know what this is or that. He just spoke broken English. At any rate, I went over to fix his chimes for him. And I was waiting in the foyer. And Kurt was looking up at the ceiling. And there was this beautiful chandelier. And Kurt said, tell me the crime doesn't pay. And I looked at it and just went on. But Jimmy came down the stairs, and I had to search. He didn't even know where the transformer for the chimes was. And I searched for it, and that's all it really turned out to be, was a chain transformer. But to him, that was a big deal. And I wound up wiring a few things for the house. And during that period of time, one interesting story that he told me was, not at that day, but after I got to know him pretty well. I used to eat dinner over there every so often with the family. His son, Jimmy Catura, lived right next door. And all the families would get together. All families would sit down and eat together. And it was kind of very homey. The children were there. And nothing was ever spoken about business, but afterwards we used to sit out on his porch and in the back of the lanai, or whatever you want to call it, screen porch, and we used to talk. One time he was telling me about, he was reminiscing really, but about a car, a Cadillac that had been given to him as a gift by some people that worked for him. At that time he was doing chop shop. I guess he always had, but I don't know for sure. I'm sure he did things way back to the 30s or 40s that were different. A lot of people called him the Owl, a lot of people call him the Bomber. But at any rate, he takes a trip with his wife down to Kentucky. And he gets down to Kentucky, and I think it was somewhere around Louisville or Lexington, in between, that he gets pulled over by a state trooper. And they didn't know who he was. They didn't pay any attention to him. And I think he was speeding. And after they went over the car, they were very interested in it because the license plates didn't match up. Something didn't match up on the car. So they ran the VIN number, and it turned out to be a stolen vehicle. And so Jimmy was arrested for the stolen vehicle. It was confiscated, and he was kind of hot at the guys that did it to him. It was supposed to be a gift. But the way he described it is far more comical than the way I'm telling you. It was a great deal of trouble for him. He had to make bond. As much as I've looked for this in the newspapers, I've not found it. I asked Mike Byrne to find it for me, and I don't think he found it either. By the way, thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure talking to you. I enjoy talking to you. And I enjoy talking to the audience here, too. As far as other stories, I think that Jimmy was, other than speaking broken English, his Italian accent was so thick it was really hard. He was a nice man, very nice man. As it says in my book, I never saw the mean side of this guy. As a matter of fact, most of the people I never really saw, most of the main guys, I never really saw anything really violent or crazy, except for Sam DiStefano. But Jimmy was a short man. He came here, it seemed he came here from Italy. But at any rate, he lived a posh home. His son, Carl Catura, worked at the Secretary of State's office, and I assume that because I got anything I wanted from the Secretary of State's office when I walked in there, Carl saw me, that that's how they ran titles into the Secretary of State for the chop shops. So just like everything else in Chicago or the suburbs, it was one of those kind of things where the politics were mixed up with the criminal aspect of life, and that's what made it what it was, and what it probably still is today. I don't know for sure. At any rate, I thought that might be an interesting story to tell you. It's one that he wasn't smiling when he said it. Let's put it that way. He was reminiscing about how upset he was at the time, and how he had to get back to Chicago. And by the way, his home was in Oak Lawn. I'm not really sure of the street, but like I said, his children lived on the same block. Carl was over there quite a bit when he came home from work. But anyway, as life goes, I thought this would be my first broadcast to you. And anybody that's out there, I've written a book, as you know, probably, called Nobody Cares. And my reason for writing that book, Nobody Cares, is I really believed that nobody really cared. If people were getting murdered, and they didn't deserve it, I didn't think they deserved murder, it seemed like nobody really cared. And I did care. And I still do care. And I think everybody else should care. I'm not really too keen on political correctness. I don't think it's a necessity in life, although it's become something that you have to kind of go along with it because most people do. I don't. I profile people. I have all my life, and I'm not going to stop now. But at any rate, if there's any other people like Tony Spilaccio or Mikey was a real nice guy, and he wouldn't hurt a fly. He wasn't really a tough guy. Tony was a tough guy, but a very close friend of mine also. I'll probably get into other stories about them. In the meantime, I'm going to have to, I'm looking at my watch there. I want to keep this under 10 minutes. But anyway, it was very interesting trying to put this first one together. And I want to say hi to everybody on Facebook. And if this goes on YouTube later on, I want to thank people for watching it. Naturally, I'm going to plug my book, Nobody Cares, and what I did about it. It's available at www.redwemette.com, REDWEMETTE.com. And meanwhile, I hope you people have a wonderful evening, or daytime, whichever it is when you see this, and enjoy yourselves. God bless you all, and that's my bedtime story.